Hello and welcome to TelecomTV. I'm Martyn Warwick and we're on tour. We are in San Francisco in California and we are at the IDF. That's the Intel Developer Forum 2014 here in downtown San Francisco. I'm talking with Robert McBride, who is the Senior Product Manager with Brocade. Robert, welcome.
Hello, thank you very much for the opportunity.
The IDF is a big deal. It's a big show. There are 5,000 engineers and developers here of various sorts, shall we say, no more than that.
Yeah.
An eclectic mix, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of companies who either work with, for, to, or collaborate with Intel. You are one of those. Let's start with that. Why the relationship with Intel and why are you here?
Okay, so as it relates to Intel and Brocade, actually we have to go back a number of years, right, to 2006. Brocade actually purchased a company called Vyatta, and Vyatta had, has its origins back in 2005, 2006, and at that time they had, developed a virtual network operating system designed specifically to reside on Intel-based architectures. And the engineering force, and marketing force, and sales force, right, Vyatta as a company in general, was working very closely with Intel to ensure that the optimizations and levels of performance and scale related to their virtual router, firewall, or VPN that they were developing was very much mapped and perfectly tuned to Intel's own roadmap, if you will, right? So if you actually go back to 2005 and 2006, from the start of the company and follow the various different releases and the various different generations of the Vyatta product at that time, you'll actually notice and see a direct correlation to the new advanced and new relative chipsets that Intel has actually produced and all the levels of new great advancements in either scale, the performance, or even feature velocity as it relates to the virtual router at that moment in time.
So the products and the philosophies mesh to some extent?
Absolutely, right. So the virtual network operating system that is the core of what the virtual router is was designed specifically, as I said earlier, to reside specifically on Intel-based architectures and be optimized for that, right, to deliver levels of performance that are necessary for customers, as well as levels of scale and meet certain types of price points, if you will.
So let's talk about platforms for a minute. What is a Brocade platform? What does it do? And why is it special?
So at Brocade, what we actually have is something called the Vyatta platform. The Vyatta platform is an architecture within Brocade that actually signifies or actually touches on a variety of different layers. Part of it's overall our strategy from a virtual appliance perspective, where at Brocade we have two virtual appliances. We have the Vyatta Virtual Router, as well as the Vyatta Virtual Application Delivery Controller, where Brocade now can offer a comprehensive layer 2 through layer 7 set of services in a virtual form factor. To live on top of that is, of course, our overall strategy as it relates to Open Daylight, where we're a platinum sponsor, and that fits in overall to our Vyatta platform kind of architecture and strategy. And of course, other tools or other applications like OpenStack too as well fit on top of Vyatta, the platform. So we've taken Vyatta away from being just a point product to actually being the leading name, if you will, for all the other products that come out of Brocade that are software-based, and hence why it's now called the Vyatta platform. And maybe you didn't know actually, but Vyatta actually means open, right, in Sanskrit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually kind of cool. I didn't know that until a couple of weeks ago.
Well, I've learned something new.
Yeah.
Now, Intel places great store on partnerships and collaboration. It understands as an organization that it's no longer possible for just one company to do everything. So they want to tap into the innovation and the intellectual capital that's available in smaller companies. What's it like working with them?
Well, working with Intel? Oh, it's been fantastic. The levels of engagement that we're actually having now, especially that NFV has just kind of popped out here in the last 18 plus months, where the overall general idea, of course, to virtualize various functions we've done in specific hardware now to actually be placed on compute, and that compute actually being Intel. The rate of engagement has actually accelerated quite a bit, and what it's done on top of that, of course, is it's having a lot of us other vendors kind of operate in a more of an open-based ecosystem where we're actually having to kind of meet in a common area to actually address the same customer base's needs and demands, if you will. So it's been very exciting, actually, and instead of actually being very much siloed and kind of separated from our either competition or friends or foes, if you will, we're now actually meeting into a common ground to address the same common needs that our customers are across worldwide.
I know ecosystem's a word that's used an awful lot currently, and more than perhaps it should be, but nonetheless, we'll run with that. It's probably just me saying that. But given that, who are you working with within that common ground ecosystem at the moment?
So actually, here at IDF, actually, we're kind of displaying some of those partners we're actually actively working with, right? So we have a large number of demos here at the forum. So those that are being highlighted are Overture networks, where we're looking and actually working with Overture to develop a virtual enterprise-based solution for NFV. We also have demonstrations and partnerships with Red Hat to offer service chaining-based demonstrations and functionality for our Tier 1 operators for NFV as well. And in addition to that, some other partnerships we have here, that we can all go and see at various booths, is at Wind River on top of their carrier-grade communication server, as well as another service function chaining demonstration too as well. So outside of say Wind River, Red Hat, Overture, we're working with other companies, across the board. Some, I wish I could name at the moment, but what it's really actually kind of done here is that Brocade has got a lot of doors open where we're working with other companies we probably haven't really talked to very deeply before.
Sure. Yeah, times are definitely changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned NFV, Network Functions Virtualization, just then. As transformation takes place across the networks, across the globe, and as more and more packets are being pumped across that network and more small packets are, and the need for acceleration to get it all through, it's putting stress on the networks, and it's also putting stress on network economics, because the service providers and the operators haven't yet fully worked out or figured out how to monetize it. So does Brocade help in that respect?
I think that we are. So one, I think that first step to kind of help them achieve this new business model they're going to try to adopt is the fact that one, we're actually offering a platform that kind of gives them that agility as well as elasticity to kind of help them reanalyze their current business models, but be able to deliver services that their customers are asking for at a much more rapid pace. On top of that also as well, directly within the product line, actually in one of the demonstrations we actually want to kind of showcase today is the actual levels of scale of that particular virtual appliance. One of the most important things that I think I've heard in my travels and talking with a variety of different service providers is your product can actually perform fairly well. It can actually state that it can actually scale very well, but what's the actual resource consumption behind that particular virtual appliance? Because while I maybe want to consolidate things onto a common compute platform or common platform for that matter, I'm really looking to try to jam as many potential tenants on top of that because I need to monetize that. And how actually can I monetize that? What's the actual overall end game value to me, right? If I'm an operator, I'm going to spend money for some sort of new physical architecture to place virtual appliances on it. I need to understand, what's the resource consumption of that and how can I actually monetize that? And so, through our demonstration, we want to actually exhibit that, with low resources, you can still achieve the high performance and high scale that operators are looking for, which then opens up that particular common platform to be used for other virtual applications too as well. Okay, well, we're going to look at the demos in a moment, but in the meantime, Robert McBride, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much for the time. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.